I made every mistake possible when buying this bike right here. I broke the rule of buying one with no title, not looking at it before I bought it. It could have possibly been stolen. So I bought the bike, picked it up, and from there, he hands me the title. The title doesn't have his name, it doesn't have anyone I know's name on it. So at this point, I have a bike that's not registered, no title. Front forks are puking oil the whole way home. Weird wiring everywhere. The chain is probably the original chain off of this bike. I don't know. They put an exhaust on it though. So why'd I buy it? It was 1,500 bucks. I hit up a shop, got the front forks fixed. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fix this throttle right here because this throttle is sticky. And that's gonna be the first thing I do. Then we're gonna do chain, then we're gonna do sprocket. Then we're probably gonna put an exhaust because the exhaust has burnt a hole through the fairings. All the fairings are just held on with zip ties and feel cheap as can be. Yeah, I don't know why I bought this. But the buddy, my buddy, he's a real good friend of mine. He didn't willingly like rip me off or anything. A moving bike or whatever for 1,500 bucks, no one's ripping you off for that. But he rode it with the leaking forks, the bad brakes, the bad chain, untitled, unregistered, probably uninsured. I just can't afford to do that. I can't afford to get caught, doing that. So we went the legal route. We got the bonded title. We got everything squared away so that I can ride this bike without worrying about cops harassing me. And on top of that, this bike, now I'm not saying my friend's a thief, but he could have very well have purchased a stolen bike on accident as well and then sold it to me thinking that it was a legit bike because he didn't check, he didn't go to DMV, he didn't get it titled, he didn't do none of that.
I didn't do
Now, since the bonded title process, they're gonna check, they're gonna run the VIN, make sure it's not stolen and all that. I haven't had no one come knocking on my door yet. So I'm assuming this has not been a stolen bike. So when I bought it and wanted to go the legal route with it, I went into it knowing that the police might take this bike away. At one point, this was a beautiful bike. It's a Yamaha R6. These are really neat bikes. Like, I'm a really big fan of the Yamaha bikes. I'm a real big fan of any bike, but these in particular, I really like them. So for 1,500 bucks, I'm not gonna complain, but it was riced even more than it is now. Now it had the exhaust, which I think is just the closest thing to straight pipe as you can get. It was lowered in the front a lot, which I don't know why you would lower an R6. It's not a drag bike by any means. It didn't have a tail tidy, it just had the tail removed. Everything was just removed. It has the integrated tail light and it is wired in terribly, the worst wiring that I've ever seen. We have these Buddy Bezos special turn signals right here that the wires are sticking out of the fairing. I'm probably gonna fix that when I do an oil change and have to remove these fairings. I don't know what's holding this fairing on right here. It doesn't have a stud on it. This brake lever can easily touch the handlebar right here. Jeff Bezos special windshield right there. We have a terrible paint job on this bike as well. You can see under that it was yellow at one point, which doesn't help the fact that it might have been stolen. Because the yellow was a rare and beautiful color for the Yamahas. And I remember when I bought this thing too, it literally died on me about a block away from my buddy's house and I was struggling to get it started. And yeah, that was funny, I'm not gonna lie. The horn didn't even work. So why did I even buy this bike then? Why did I pay 1,500 bucks, another 700 to get it titled and get the license plate on it, another 300 just to fix the forks, and we're about to dump a lot more money into it. For one, I'm just not financially responsible. Two, I want to learn how to work on these. To me, the Harleys look so easy because the engine is right there. This has it covered. We got liquid cooled for one on a motorcycle, which, what's the word I'm looking for?
What the hell is even that?
That is completely like foreign to me. I want to learn about sport bikes, and for 1,500 bucks, with everything that was wrong with it, it was still running, it was still stopping.
Barely.
That's a pretty good foundation right there to start. I'm not telling y'all go start buying cheap bikes with no title. I got so lucky when I bought this bike because it wasn't stolen, just on a whim. I had already bought it by the time I like figured I could look at the VIN and all that stuff online. I had already bought it, it was in my garage. So I got lucky. You might not. I don't know if the cops just come knocking on your door with the tow truck or something. But don't find out. Don't buy a bike with no title. Literally because of this bike, I have learned so much about the titling process. That's already a benefit right there. I already know what to do when a vehicle has no title. I don't recommend going through that. That is such a headache. I think I spent like 6 hours at the DMV office, and that was probably the most boring 6 hours that I ever spent. So I'm not gonna tell y'all to buy a vehicle with no title. It was terrible. This one I turned out to get really lucky on. I didn't know what any of this would take to get this bike going. I didn't think I'd be putting this much money into it, to be honest with you. I'm really not. I'm still riding it around and stuff, you know, for an extra 1,000. So I maybe have like 2,500 wrapped up in this bike and I'm able to ride it and stuff. Why didn't I just get rid of it the first chance I had? I've had people who want to buy it for what I put into it, the 2,500. Now that I have the title, it's bonded, so you know that does affect the value. This is a really cool second bike to have because I have my Harley, I have my Fat Boy that I got bags on, and I take that one to work if I'm just like every day. I'll just take that thing to work. On this thing, not so much. I don't even know if it'll get you to where you're going. But yeah, basically don't be like me when you're buying a bike. There's plenty of people who have done YouTube videos on how to buy a bike. I pretty much just told you that I broke all of those rules in buying this bike and I still got away unscathed.
Barely.
You might not be so lucky. I'm kind of glad that I did keep it because now I'm starting this channel and I think this is a great opportunity to start messing more with this bike because I can do it, show it to you guys, and all y'all can roast me for not knowing how to work on a sport bike. All right guys, like I said, don't be like me, don't risk it. Buy bikes with clean titles that look clean, that run good, because right now I got a shopping list of stuff to do to this bike and it'll be fun to do. This is a big change from talking about Harleys, the Fat Boy and all that to a Yamaha R6, but change is always good. Hopefully next time we're starting to tear into this, get some parts on it. If y'all want to see more of this bike, which I'm not gonna be surprised if you do, this one's way more fun than the Harley. Let me know in the comments down below. If y'all have any suggestions on chain and sprocket kits and stuff like that, random bits and bobs from exhaust to all that, let me know, because I'm kind of just shooting in the dark here with all of it. We need everything from wheels to fairings to exhaust to throttle cable to everything needs to get touched.
What do you mean by that?
And I would love to get to that, and I would love to show it to you guys. If y'all want some leather jackets and vests, visit First Manufacturing Co. Enter code FULLTHROTTLETOMMY25, get you 25% off any vests, jackets, gloves, and we'll see y'all next time.